Hello everyone. So I'm going to be going over our next discussion post that goes over understanding PE, and unfortunately the second link didn't work for me. So I'm just going to be going over the first two videos, not the first two, the first video and the last video. Um, and so some key points that I took away, especially from the first TEDx Bend video, was about how I hadn't considered teaching in Illinois. That was the first thing that I remember thinking to myself, is that I was like, well, if they have this extensive PE program out in Illinois, and I also have some extended family out that way, it would be really interesting if I ended up teaching out there. But that's kind of beside the point, anyways. Another thing that I thought about was that I remember from my elementary experience that sometimes it was really hard for our teachers to find the time to have every subject in one day. And even so, I think that I want to take on the challenge of going through and trying to add in some sort of physical element in my classroom every day, because like you said in the TED Talk, in a couple of my other classes, we've gone over brain breaks, and I think that those are really important since we were also engaging in them ourselves. And I want to keep my students' attention. I want them to be soaking up the information that I'm giving them, and I want them to be more engaged. I want them to have fun. I want them to be relaxed, and having a physical element, like stated in the first video, definitely helps with that. And I especially thought that, well, I've seen it multiple times now throughout some of my other classes as well, the brain scans that he brought up, um, with students that were sitting quietly and then took a test, how their brains were kind of dim and not lit up as much. And then the brain scan from a 20-minute walk. um, I don't know if I would take my kids on a 20-minute walk, depending on where I live, especially in the winter, but I would definitely try and get them up and moving and kind of get more of that lit up brain activity like we see in those scans. So for the second video, the last one, I guess you could say, adding on. Okay, so for the last video, I remember really connecting with the kind of younger teacher who was talking about how she really wanted to, like I've said, engage with her students in a really fun and interactive way, and kind of make sure that they're getting up and moving. And I think that it's also really important that we build that physical literacy that was really discussed as a foundation block in that video. Um, Personally, I didn't like physical education very much. It was probably just due to some of my weaker physical attributes, but I think that even so, it's important to develop an understanding of our bodies, because I also did take some extracurricular physical things whenever I was younger, like I was in ballet or karate, and so it's really important that we understand to what extent we can control our bodies, to what extent we can have power. And so even though my experience with literacy in like physical literacy wasn't from school, I think that it's still important that we provide that opportunity for the kids that can't go out and do those extracurriculars. And so that is what I wanted to bring up, kind of keep it short and sweet for this discussion so I'm not boring anybody. So that'll do it. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week or so. So, toodaloo.